right, good morning, one and all. Calling to order, what is today, November 13th? Coming to the end of another year, huh? November 13th, meeting of the City of Cocobeach Code Enforcement Special Magistrate. My name is Lonnie Groot. I serve as Special Magistrate, and we will proceed with the agenda. But before we do, are there any changes to the agenda, Ms. Crawford?
We do have two cases that are in compliance. So 25-20 and 25-30, as well as 25-221.
221?
So three cases.
25-221.
Yes.
Right, so if anybody's here for those three cases, 25-20, 25-30, or 25-221, those cases are not going to be heard. They're off the agenda. Well, they're not off the agenda, but they're resolved.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. I guess one announcement is there will be no meeting in December, no hearings in December, and the next hearings will be January 14th, 2026. The next item is the approval of the minutes of October 8th, 2025. The Attorney General has determined that special magistrates should also have minutes to their meetings. And so I've reviewed the minutes for the October 8th meeting and approved them. So I see there are some new faces out there. So let me just go over the process real quick. Obviously, these are hearings today. We're going to hold four. And they're public hearings in that they're open to the public and the sunshine law applies and anybody can come in and watch. Are we on YouTube today?
We are live. Yeah.
We're live. So if anybody is so bored out there in the rest of the world that they have nothing to do except fall asleep watching this Code Enforcement Special Magistrate meeting, they can be watching live or even use it as a sedative because it'll be recorded too. So in any event, but that being said, the public is not a participant. The participants today are the City of Cocoa Beach as the petitioner and the property owners usually as the respondents in their little mini trials, okay? So during the course of the hearing, Ms. Crawford or another person or a witness of Ms. Crawford, i.e. the city, will present evidence, and whoever presents evidence is subject to cross-examination, just like in a trial by the respondent. And then after the city's through presenting its evidence, the respondent gets to present their evidence, and whatever you, as a respondent, might say, or as a witness, the city can cross-examine you too, okay? And then at the end of the proceeding, when all the evidence is submitted, I'll issue an oral order determining whether or not there's violation, whether or not there's a penalty, what the penalty is, etc. And then typically by Monday or Tuesday of next week, we'll have a written order that'll be issued and it'll be distributed. And that order can be recorded in the public records, land records, official records, the records that affect property a city so desires. And that's basically the process. Did I miss anything, Ms. Crawford? Okay, that being said, who plans on testifying today? Okay, for the city or respondent? Okay, if everybody who's going to testify, please stand up. And I'll start in the back of the room so that I won't forget anybody. Would you state your full name, sir?
Jay Castello, building
Yes.
official.
Okay, thank you. Yes, ma'am?
Michelle Snyder.
Yes, sir?
Dwayne Pierce,
Yes, ma'am?
Marie Pierce.
Yes, sir?
Corey Hall.
Yes, ma'am?
Morgan Zolke.
Ms. Crawford?
Danielle Crawford.
Ms. Hock? Okay, do each of you solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give and the matters now here will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. All right. And we also have an esteemed clerk here too, who takes care of making sure everything we do today is recorded. All right. First case that we'll hear today is case number 25-54. Ms. Crawford, are you ready?
Yes.
You may proceed.
So case 25-54, the respondents are Island Time Marina, which is the leasee, as well as Coconut Cove Yacht Club, who is the property owner. The address is 398 West Cocoa Beach Causeway, with parcel and legal description as shown. Here is an aerial view of the property outlined in blue from BCPAO. We're talking exclusively about a parking lot. From January 9th, 2023 through April 15th, 2025, staff observed an unpermitted parking lot, accessory structure, and trash and debris on the property, which resulted in 3 previous code cases, all of which were closed per previous director's direction. During this time frame, the city chose to work directly with the respondent and property owner to attempt to resolve the violations on the property. On April 15th, 2025, a notice of violation was sent to the respondent, which was received and signed for April 21st, 2025. On August 25th, 2025, a revised notice of violation was sent to the respondent, addressing violations on the property, including Section 105.1 required from the Florida Building Code, 110.1 general procedures, 3-33 accessory structures, 10-22 enumerated conditions of the City of Cocoa Beach Code of Ordinances. Respondent was asked to apply for and obtain a permit for the constructed parking lot and accessory structures, obtain all approved final inspections, apply for and obtain site plan for the parking lot, and to remove all trash and debris from the parking lot. On August 25th, 2025, the notice of violation was mailed via first class and certified mail, as well as hand-delivered to the respondent. On September 2nd, 2025, the certified mail was received and signed for by the owner. And on September 22nd, 2025, the respondent received and signed for his copy of the notice of violation. On October 13th, 2025, I re-inspected the property, which remained in violation. On October 13th, a notice of hearing was sent via first-class mail to both the respondent and the owner. The certified mail was received and signed for by the owner on October 20th, 2025, and October 24th, 2025. The respondent hand-delivered the FDEP permit to me, also confirming receipt of the notice of hearing. At this time, the FDEP permit was uploaded to both the building permit and the planning and zoning application. The building permit is awaiting zoning approval and city engineer approval, and the planning permit is awaiting planning review, fire approval, engineering review, stormwater review, and administrator approval. As of November 11th, 2025, the building permit and the site plan application for the parking lot has not been issued due to insufficient information. No building permits have been submitted for the accessory structure, and much of the trash and debris on the property has been removed. However, some dilapidated watercrafts, trailers, and building permits or building materials remain. This is a picture of the beginning of the construction of the parking lot from January 9th, 2023. You can see the majority of the lot is dirt with a corner section of pavement. By February 6, 2023, the entire lot was paved. More pictures of the paved lot. Pictures of the items, the vehicles, and the trash and debris stored on the property. All of these photos were from 2023, and as you see in 2025, the conditions remain the same on the property. So this was April 2nd of this year. This is the unpermitted structure. And this is from November 12th of this year. So these are the dilapidated watercrafts, the excessive building materials. And that is our presentation.
Did you want to introduce the PowerPoint into evidence?
I do, thank you. I would like to.
You have a copy?
I do not have a copy.
Who's the property representative? Is there one? Anybody here representing the property owner in this case? Okay, I'm going to admit the PowerPoint that's been presented visually, technologically, whatever you want to call it, but you could print one out later on.
Absolutely.
Okay. So, once again, is there anybody here representing the property owner? Mr. Palmer, would you, I've called twice, it seems. Would you go out into the hall and call one time to see if there's a property owner? Coconut Grove Yacht Club, which is the property owner.
No, sir.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Palmer. So let the record reflect that I've called twice inside the hearing room, and Mr. Palmer scoured the halls outside the hearing room, and no one from the property owner or any other respondent has appeared this morning. So what is the proposal of the city?
So the staff recommendation, based on the testimony and evidence presented at this hearing, we respectfully request that you find the respondent in violation of the entire notice of violation and give the respondent until November 20th of this year to bring the property into compliance and have compliance confirmed by myself. If the violations continue beyond the compliance date, we request that a fine in the amount of $250 a day be instituted until compliance is achieved and confirmed.
Let me just ask you one question. Is there going to be a need for a retention pond in that parking lot? related?
Yes, yeah.
I didn't see any being constructed.
The location of the trailers and the vehicles on the property is where the swale should be. So where that retention pond is supposed to be.
It'll be swales and not actual pond then.
I believe it's just going to be a swale
I was just curious.
that we've requested, yeah.
I just didn't see one being constructed, and
No.
my experience has been that anything that's impervious like that would require,
Yes.
particularly proximate to a body of water, which this is.
Most definitely.
Okay, is there anything further that the city would like to present?
Nothing further.
Okay. Okay, based upon the evidence submitted in this case, number 25-54, I'm going to find that the respondents, but more significantly the property owner, are in violation of the codes as asserted by the city, and that the respondent shall have until November 20th of this year to come into compliance with each and every code. And if they do not come into compliance with each and every code, then a fine of $250 per day will be set and run for each day of noncompliance after November 20th, 2025. All right, next case is case number 25-193.
So case 25-193 is for Dwayne Pierce Jr. and Marie Pierce. They are here today. The property address 306 Angelo Lane, in the parcel ID and legal description is as shown. Here's an aerial view of the property, outlined in blue from BCPAO. Here is a synopsis of the case. On August 7th of this year, a notice of violation was sent to the respondent addressing violations on the property, including 3-03 vehicle parking of the City of Cocoa Beach Code and ordinances, as well as 3-35 temporary and portable structures, The respondent was asked to remove everything from the vacant lot based on the codes shown. On August 15th, 2025, the respondent received and signed for the certified mailing. He then came to City Hall and discussed violations and possible solutions. On August 25th, the respondent met with the city manager and discussed the violations and possible solutions. The city manager granted the respondent 30 days from the day the notice of violation was received to come into compliance. On September 15th, I re-inspected the property, which remained in violation. I spoke with the respondent, who requested to speak with the special magistrate. And on September 29th, a notice of hearing was sent via first class and certified mail. On October 3rd, the certified mail was received and signed for by the respondent. So the property address that we're discussing is a vacant lot, which by code, we don't allow any outside storage without a principal structure. And so here is a picture of the vehicles and a pod on the vacant structure. We have September, October, and
All right. So is there anything further that the city wants to present?
there's nothing further.
Okay, so the property owners, Mr. and Mrs. Pierce, are here.
Yes.
Do you have any questions of Ms. Crawford? No? Okay.
No questions, just. No questions.
Okay, you would like to make a presentation?
Absolutely.
Please, go ahead. Thank you.
So the
Oh,
situation.
hang on one second, I forgot something, my bad. Ms. Crawford, did you want to introduce the PowerPoint as evidence in this case?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. Pierce, do you all object to the documents which you saw on the screen before? And I'm looking this way, you're looking that way.
Yeah, I'm just seeing property.
Do you have any objection to those documents being introduced into evidence?
No, not at this
Okay, then
time.
they'll be admitted, and will you print out a copy too? Okay. Right, I'm sorry, go ahead.
There was a reason for the container being on the property. Our neighbor across the street, one house to the left of that property, they're rebuilding their house. So Nat, I talked with, the time back, I had talked with the city manager, explained the situation. They said, that's a very neighborly thing to do. It sounds good. So I talked to Michelle, which is the neighbor, and I'm like, hey, everything seems to be good. You're tearing it down, you need a place to put all your appliances, your tile for your new house, and the lot is there. I utilize it. So on that, I do have some pictures of why, because I've built houses before, why it needed to have the container on the lot, because it could not keep it on
Why
property.
your neighbors needed to have a container on the lot?
Yeah, the neighbors have the container on the
Michelle,
property.
okay.
Michelle has the container on our property. So I'm like, absolutely, because I worked with the neighbor across the street. When the house rebuilt across the street, they had to put all the trusses on the lot so they could assemble it to the new house and build. So it is helping improve the neighborhood. I have pictures here I'd like to show you of the,
Showing to, they stay with me, just so you,
that's fine.
just like, okay.
Yeah.
There'll be evidence. Ms. Crawford, do you have any objection to these being introduced? Okay.
No.
Okay, good.
Now I have, that's the whole front section. And the trucks and everything that was allowed, that's blocking the neighborhood.
That's right.
And the neighbor saying, hey,
Excuse me, you need to mic.
okay, it's kind of hard for me to explain the pictures from a different location.
Thank you. Not your bad, and thank you, Mr. Brown, you're right. And I've been permitted in another city because of security these days.
You want me to have him?
Yeah, I've
Explain that.
Yeah.
Okay.
You have no objection to those photos being admitted. I reviewed it into evidence as the response exhibit one.
And
But
You'll keep these, but if you want to look at them to kind of explain to him what's going on there.
okay.
yeah, I didn't need to take them away from you right
No,
away.
it's-
They're gone once you're through, that's all. Okay. One case,
So here's a picture of all the truss in the front yard. But also this work being done on this house was permitted
on
on Michelle's
Michelle's.
property. So it's a permitted house. I understand the sex says there has to be a permit. But I understand how do you make this work to put the container on the property when there's no room left on the property? So another section was all the trucks and everything blocking the road. So these are the reasons why. And it also came down to another nice neighbor lives next door, Paul, allowed, after Shell and them contact, Paul allowed them to use their driveway to set the crane, because the crane would not be able to set the trusses because of the power lines. They couldn't reach over the power lines. So thankfully, Paul allowed them to use his driveway to help them along with their house. So in our neighborhood, we all try to work with each other.
So that all explains the pod.
That explains the pod. The pod is temporary, as I explained before, that as soon as the house is secure and they can get it, the container will be removed from the property.
What about the RV then?
Well, that's another issue. That's something else. So pretty much described everything we just talked about about the pod.
Right. So your RV starts here where you want to ask about the fact that there is a slab.
So on this property, there was a house prior to. The RV and the trailer were there. The one trailer is the lawn trailer that I use for all the maintenance on that property and the work on it. We've been improving this property ever since we bought it because we plan on building a house there. We have a pan seawall, just finished it. Right now I have a new fence ready to go. It's waiting on permitting. And I have the number for the permit, which is BP-25-214, which would be improving the property more. So on my survey, it kind of goes back and forth saying that it's not, to me, not a vacant lot, it's a property. The survey contains,
Explain that again. That's something I've never heard before. It's not vacant lot, it's a property.
Well, I think it's here.
I mean, it's a piece of property,
Well, it's-
nothing constructed on it, right?
yeah, there's a foundation for a house, and there's an asphalt driveway, which is shown here on survey.
Okay, so it's a partially developed.
It's partially-
It has no structure on it.
Agreed.
Correct.
Okay.
But it has a new seawall, everything's in the plans
I got
of moving forward, so
It's ready for a structure, is what you're saying.
it's getting close to ready for a structure. So prior to this structure, the RV is on the property, also with the trailer. So at this time, it's still there. I mean, going back when the house was torn down, the house was in such good shape. I talked to Robin, that was our code
And it's there
enforcement.
because you're doing construction and that's helping you do construction.
Correct. So now, when I talk to Robin, I go down the house, he goes, because the house is getting old, he goes, we won't have to worry about any code violations, everything's good once you remove the house, down to the foundation, because it was originally, I removed the roof, which the permits for.
Our code enforcement officer, Robin,
Yes.
told you that
Once I removed the house, everything's fine, there's no more violations. So now I went ahead and I removed the roof, I checked the block wall, there's no board columns. So at that time, and the other permit says removing down to the slab, for the concrete slab, because I don't want to build a house that doesn't have poured concrete columns in it, because the house was built back in like 68. Just wouldn't to cover my standards for today. So at that time, there's still the asphalt driveway, everything's parked on the property. It's basically, I park my truck there at night because there's a driveway on the property and I'm not blocking the street. So when everybody in the neighborhood's like, we prefer you to park on the asphalt driveway and not in the street. And I have a petition signed from all the neighbors on my street in that area that they prefer me to park on the property and not on the street. The RV has a tag, the trailer has a tag, everything's current, up to date. So that's the only things that get parked on that property.
So you have a pending building permit on your property?
Well, I have one for a fence that's
Well, okay.
pending.
Not for a structure.
Not for the structure, because I want to make sure, trying to get with an architect and a builder and everything to go along with that. But I mean, I've been making improvements on this piece of property ever since we owned it. It's not like it's just but if you consider anything else in the area, the lot looks great. I mean, we have a lot of other buildings that need to be brought up, but I'm not sure about them. I'm worried about our property. The RV and the driveway meets all the setbacks. The trailer for maintenance of the lawn.
Setbacks for a structure. Okay.
When I met with the city, I was like, give me a resolution to how.
You met with the city, Robin, or the city manager?
The director, that's right here.
Okay.
So he's like, well, the container's not your problem, and, you know, there's nothing we can do. The only way you could have anything resolved is come to the magistrate. So that's
What
why.
you said that, I heard you say, tell me if I'm wrong, you just said that Mr. Palmer told you there was no problem with the pod.
No.
Okay, that's what it sounded like.
Well, AJ, I believe it was AJ that was in there, and the head of the building department, and asked Daniel for a little more time because the container would be removed. And they agreed. The chief.
When will the pod be removed?
How close are you on your house?
We're hoping by the end of the year we'll be totally.
You were sworn in too, right?
Yes, sir.
I don't know your last name otherwise.
Michelle Snyder.
Snyder, okay.
So that's where we're at on that.
Okay.
I mean, we're making progress moving forward. It's not like it's a vacant lot with everything being piled up as trash. It's kept clean. Here's a photo.
This is an additional photo. Okay, the one that was shown?
No, the photo.
There was
I
no-
have
Okay, this is fine then. I thought maybe there had been another one that you were referring to.
no, one was
Okay.
with all that, and one was the property.
Okay.
I have the survey here too that shows there's a concrete slab on it and asphalt
You
away.
introduced it if you want to.
No, we didn't do that.
If you hand it to me, it stays in the record though.
It's fine.
Do you have any objection to that being introduced? Okay, it'll be introduced into evidence except to the respondent.
So on that note also, if you wanna-
Hi, Marie Pierce, also property owner. So Dwayne has been kind of referring to a petition
Yes.
that we thought that might be helpful in you understanding maybe the neighborliness and the, how our neighbors support each other. So the petition of support for on-property vehicle trailer and parking at 30 Sangelo Lane. And I don't know if we described to you, but we live across the street. So our primary residence is 313. So we're looking at this empty lot.
Okay.
We, the undersigned, believe that permitting the owners of 36 Angelo Lane to park their vehicles, trailer, and RV on their property is both reasonable and beneficial for the entire neighborhood. We urge the city and any relevant governing bodies to grant this request, recognizing that it will improve the flow and safety of two-way traffic on Angelo Lane, enhance emergency vehicle access, support the rights and preferences of property owners and their neighbors, maintain the visual integrity and the community spirit of our neighborhood. This position represents a collective voice of support from immediate households surrounding the neighbors and those directly affected by current parking situation on Angelo Lane. And I'd say we're at maybe 40 signatures.
Now, this isn't throughout the whole neighborhood. This is everybody on Angelo Street or any houses that are adjacent to it. There is a reason also the motorhome is located where it's at. House is on Borello. Every night, Starbucks gets a delivery. The tractor trailer comes through the dinosaur store storage unit, through the fire station, and the RV blocks the headlights going into the houses that are on the other side of the canal. So I had moved it from its original location and put it on the concrete slab to help my neighbors so they don't have the lights and all the cars that make the turn go into their house. Now, also on that note, this property is located right next to the fire station, which also keeps vehicles outside quite a bit at night too. And the dinosaur store has trailers parked outside.
Okay, just a second. That's the petition. Now, you read it, and there was no objection from the city. Does the city have any objection to this petition being? Okay. You have no objection to it being relevant? Okay. Then I will admit it as respondent exhibit number 3 then.
So I think we're just at a point trying to understand if because the lot has the concrete slab, foundation, a block around that, and an asphalt, is there a possibility that we can treat this as a property that can have this RV on it, understanding that portable or pod is just temporary, as we've already discussed, and allow us to park our personal vehicles that are tagged and registered on that lot?
Well, I understand what,
So that's what we're just trying to explain what it is.
And at that time, we're meeting with the director, he goes, well, you're allowed to park in the street.
I talked about Mr. Palmer.
Mr. Palmer said, well, you're allowed to park in the street. And it's just not fair to my neighbors to block up that section and park in the street. So I do have another photo of the back of the property with a map and a property of that.
Would you like to submit that?
I'd like to submit that. It shows the new seawall that we just completed not too long ago.
Is there any objection to the city?
Now, on that seawall, I did with the city because they do have a culvert pipe running through on my property. And we worked around that and came up with a solution. It's not like I don't try to
I
work the city.
appreciate this will be, it is response number 4 in this case.
And, I understand from,
I think you should tell a little more about this, about what we did with the culvert pipes, because I want to show how we work with the city and look at reciprocation.
so we're installing the seawall, and on the property line, I'd have to do my return for my seawall. Well, I wouldn't be able to do the return for the seawall because the culvert pipe is on the center of the property line for the fence that's on the north side. So working with the city, there was a 10-foot easement there. They said, okay, we'll take care of 4 feet, so we moved the seawall past the culvert pipe and do a setback. So it's not like I haven't worked with the city on anything, and we try to make everything as simple and useful as possible with everybody.
I do appreciate all the information.
So, on that note, just asking you to allow us to leave the RV and the lawn trailer on the property because it was there prior to the building being moved. If I had a shed on that property and I removed the primary building, does that mean the shed has to go?
Let's do this, because sounds like you present all your evidence, and now you're going to argue about.
I'm not arguing, I'm
No,
just trying to explain.
That's a
I'm
legal
sorry.
phrase. What I'm going to do is let the city argue why you're in violation, then you can rebut that argument.
Okay.
Okay, but before we proceed and I hope, I'm by nature a relatively friendly guy, so it looks like I'm, like I called you Michelle's, but I didn't know your last name, Snyder, right?
That's okay, yes.
I got that now. But there was 2 points I want, since there's people here, and since there's people maybe watching. There was a note when Ms. Crawford made her presentation that you requested to speak to the special magistrate.
Yeah.
We never did that, did we?
No, well,
And-
she said this was the way to do it.
This is the way to do it. That's my point, is that I don't speak to the city about cases, and I don't speak to respondent. When I get here, I may have seen some documents, but I haven't heard from anybody, and might make my decision based upon what's going on here. And secondly, at the beginning, I told you that this wasn't a public hearing. Well, the city, and I think really graciously, they could have objected to this petition, and I would have stained it, because this is irrelevant. No offense to all the, it's good that you did this, but it's good to know that the neighbors don't have a problem, or apparently don't have a problem, or don't have a 100% problem, or whatever it is, but it means nothing. You could have called people as witnesses, but that's his unsworn, that's my point.
I'm sorry,
It's
this is,
good- No, I'm not trying to gig you or anything. I just want you to know that the city was gracious and, I mean, I would have objected, and I know that other cities would have. So that's a very gracious thing for the city of Cocoa Beach to say, we're going to allow this petition in front of the magistrate.
thank you.
Well, I don't, that wasn't the point either, but, yeah. Okay, so, do you have any other witnesses?
We're good.
Okay, then let's do this now. Ms. Crawford, you can, or whoever, can get up and argue why the violations are as charged, and we'll let the respondent to get up and have a rebuttal argument. You're going to make the argument?
I'm just going to mention real quick that, the city is trying to work with individuals every time. I just want to mention
That's
that-
apparent, by the way, so.
I just want to mention that the city manager, along with the department director, who were also in that meeting, are here in the audience right now. They have not been sworn in, but if you would like to hear from them, I'd be more than happy to call them up to answer any questions about any meeting that we had.
Well, I don't decide who gets called as witnesses, but I can tell you what, for the sake of everybody, what the law is, and this may sound harsh to the public, but I've had to deal with it hundreds of times. Literally, I've been practicing local government law since 1985. I'm an old guy, and and the case law supports this. A person can walk up to a building permit desk in any city or county in the state of Florida, get a building permit, go start building, and have it revoked because it was erroneously issued. You can have a clerk say, everything's okay, go ahead on, build that swimming pool there. And they can stop you because it's in violation of the code. Because that clerk can't change the code. Only a city commissioner, a county commissioner, a city councilor, or a county council can change the code. That building permit clerk or that person sitting at the desk has no authority. As city attorney, if I say it's okay to do it and I was wrong, then I was wrong, but the city still enforces its codes. So I don't need to hear if that's what the
Okay,
point. The
thank you.
point is, if you want to dispute what was said, that's fine, go ahead, but if, the point is, no matter what was said, it doesn't matter. That may
No, I
sound
was
harsh,
just-
but it's coming from me, that's just the law.
I was just letting the magistrate
No,
know.
I'm
in the
fine,
audience.
whoever you want to call, I'll listen to, though.
I'm good, thank you.
Okay. So, you want to make an argument as to why the codes are violated, or you,
As to why the codes were violated, because there is no structure. It is a vacant lot, and per the codes stated earlier, 3-03 and 3-35, I believe, you cannot store items on a vacant lot. There needs to be a principal structure. And we definitely don't intend to silence anyone, but we do have to enforce the code equally throughout the entire city. And so that's why we're here today.
and to go to Mr. Pierce's point about this really not being vacant, because there's a seawall, there's a fence permit, there's a driveway, and there's an old foundation from 1966 or 76, whatever it was. What's your point there? I mean, I know what the law is, but
Right.
I think it'd be helpful for you to articulate it.
Those aren't principal structures. I don't even think they're accessory structures. I don't know the definition.
When a code speaks vacant, it means no structure, no home,
Correct.
no business structure, no garage, no
Right.
whatever it is that is allowed to be
And-
built on that.
Yeah,
It's
correct.
not,
And
it's
it-
not that there's nothing vertical. I mean, because that's,
Right.
you could put a driveway on a piece of property and then load it out full of all sorts of other stuff because it's not vacant anymore. Anyway, I got your point. Would you like to have a counter argument to that?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
On this note, the code had changed. Everything was there prior to the changing of the code, from my understanding. That's why when I talked with the original code enforcement, everything was
Okay,
fine.
well, hang on. So you're saying it's your grandfather
Basically, yes.
because the code was changed to require,
From my
sure.
understanding, yes. Or Robin told me, hey, you can't have the motorhome and the trailer here because it was prior to the house being torn down.
That's it. but you don't have codes?
I used to have the codes a long time ago because we were going through issues with a building on the other side of the canal with noise
Okay.
issues. But at that time, this is where we're at.
Anything else you had?
Uh,
That's new. So I'm gonna let the city have rebuttal on that point and I guess the only thing that you would speak about in rebuttal is whether or not it was grandfathered.
Yeah, nothing's been documented as far as anything being grandfathered or permitted.
Well, I got that. There's been no code issued, entered into evidence today, so is your argument that it is not grandfathered?
No, it's not grandfathered. So in order for something to be grandfathered, it would have to have written documentation and proof of that grandfathering to allow,
Through some process of the city, like a
yes.
administrative interpretation or a
Yeah.
certificate of vesting or whatever,
Right.
I haven't researched it. But.
Correct.
Okay. Thank you. Everybody did really good making a presentation. So let's get to this point. Assuming there is a violation, what is the city's recommendation? And I'm going to let the respondents speak to that.
So based on the testimony and evidence presented at the hearing, staff respectfully requests the magistrate find the respondent in violation of the entire notice of violation and give the respondent until December 13th to bring the property into compliance or have compliance confirmed by the code enforcement officer. So we're just asking for more time to come into compliance.
So no fine at this point?
No.
Okay. So, Mr. or Mrs. Pierce, what city, and once again, and I don't typically characterize things, but I've handled hundreds and hundreds of code enforcement cases. What the city just graciously did, that's why I said that, so I used the word graciously. They're just saying they want to give you a certain period of time to comply. And if you don't comply by December 13th, then you'd have a hearing, maybe on January 14th, maybe on January 14th, or some hearing after December 13th, hearing date after December 13th, at which a fine would be established based upon noncompliance on a per day. So basically the city's saying we're going to give you until January 14th. It says December 13th, but as a practical matter, it's January 14th to remove the RV and remove the pod, basically. Is there anything else I'm missing there? No. That's
My point also on that, I accept the graciousness of that, but that will be also saying I can't park my vehicle that's across the street from me on that section of the property.
Well, that's exactly right. Yes, it doesn't matter what the reason that you're parking it there is, whether it's to block light, to avoid noise in the fire department, whatever it is. If you don't have a developed lot, i.e. a lot is vacant, you can't use it for storage. You can't have an accessory structure, you can't use it for storage. Unless it's zoned for storage, like like a mobile home, what are those things called? Toy storage places, with RVs and trailers and boats and, all that kind of stuff, are stored. So yes, the answer would be yes. That's what the city's position is, and in my judgment, that's what the law is. Otherwise, I wouldn't find a violation today, which I'm going to do, by the way. So just so you'll know, is you'd have to remove it, regardless. If you were feeding the poor at Christmas time, it doesn't really matter. I mean, it sounds Scroogish and Grinchish, but that's the truth.
Okay, can I request that we extend this time limit to like January 12th?
I believe this thing is at January 15th.
You effectively had, that's between you. But I will say that effectively, you've given the respondent until January 14th to apply, because they're here till then.
I'll do what I need to do before that time.
And I think you're going to work with him about fitting the RV or anything like work I can do later. I could just say you're fine with this today.
Yeah, as long as we can work on this.
I didn't hear that part.
As long as, we can extend time. And I'd also like to work out something else where the RV could stay but
That's between,
That's a different
you're
discussion.
talking to, you guys need to talk about that. What I'm saying is the city said they would like to have order say December 13th. As a practical matter, it doesn't matter whether it says December 13th or January 13th, the effect is the same.
absolutely, please.
Does that make sense?
Yes, sir. We're asking December 13th because that's 3 days from now. So we would ask for December 13th. I understand that it's going to be January 14th when you rehear this. At that point in time, when you rehear it, then we can discuss if we need to go further with allowing more time because of circumstances, or if we want to go straight. That's
Believe it or
why we
not-
place the lien on this right now, or even an amount.
Makes
So-
sense to me. It makes
Okay.
sense to me.
January
There'll be-
14th.
Until the order, I will issue the order for December 13th, because that's a reasonable period of time in this circumstance. Actually, a couple of weeks would be a reasonable period of time. But he asked December 13th, so be it. That's a reasonable period of time. But there would be no fine assessed until there's another hearing. Okay? So on January 14th, the city brings this to me again and says, I'd like to fine of X dollars per day starting on January 15th. Then that's when that issue will be before me.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes, I just look at it a whole different way, but
Well-
I think
My wife would say, you're lucky you think like me. Okay, okay.
so.
Anything else by the city? Anything else by you, sir? Or your wife? Nope. Okay, so I will enter an order finding that there is a violation of the code cited and that the response have until December 13th, 2025 to come into compliance. That'll be the order that'll issue. Okay. Okay, thank you very much. And the case, next case is case 25-263 with the property owner, the Christie Barnberry Family Trust.
The response to Christie Berry Family Trust for the 2 South End, the parcel ID and legal description as shown. As the aerial view from property appraiser. On July 22nd, a courtesy was sent to the respondent. On August 13th, the citation was issued for operating a vacation rental without the required registration. On September 4th, I spoke with the owner via phone call, and I followed up an email explaining how to apply for the BTR registration. On September 30th, the notice of violation was issued. On October 1st, I sent another follow-up email to the owner explaining how to apply for both the BTR and the registration. And on October 21st, notice of hearing was issued. As of today, the BTR has been applied for, however, the application is incomplete, and neither registration application for the 2 separate rentals on the property have been submitted at this time. There's a screenshot from Rentalscape showing looking for the main house on property, and it's one of the active listings that you can still book on there right now. And reviews showing that they've had rentals through the year, recently 2 weeks ago. And here's a rental screenshot for the guest house on the property. They're also renting out. And here's the active listing for that. Also has reviews throughout the year.
All right. Anything further? Did you want to introduce the PowerPoint?
Yes, please.
Is here to represent the, anybody? Okay, the Christie Banbury Family Trust is a property owner here. The Christie Banbury Trust, Family Trust, is anybody here? That's right, you know the routine, Mr. Palmer. In the old days, even before my time, they called this calling the halls, where they would go out and call the halls of the courthouse for a witness or defendant or sometimes an attorney who's not as. But we were calling the halls.
With my last name, Hall, it's a different thing.
No, sir.
All right, Mr. Palmer, thank you so much. So there is no respondent present in the case. What is the recommendation of the city? I know we have the statutory penalty for not paying your local business tax.
Yes, based on the testimony and evidence presented at the hearing, staff respectfully requests the magistrate find the respondent in violation of the notice of violation of the respondent until November 27th to bring the property in compliance and have fines confirmed by the officer.
And just statutory fine for not paying local business tax?
Yes.
Okay. Nothing. Okay. That will be the order, and case number 25-263. I'm going to find the So cited violations have occurred and that the statutory fines set forth in Chapter 205 of the Florida statutes will be imposed. That case is case number 25-71. The property owner is Alaya Place LLC.
Yes. And the address is 718 South Atlantic Ave with the parcel ID and legal description as shown. And I believe the representative is here, Joseph. Yeah.
Have you been sworn in, sir? Okay. Let's do that then. What's your relationship to the LLC? You're one of the managers or whatever, okay. You stand up, please. State your full name.
Joseph Elba.
Sir, do you solemnly swear testimony about to give matter now here in truth, the whole truth, about the truth, self God?
Yes,
Thank you very much. Ms. Crawford, you may proceed.
Okay, here's an area view of the property. Actually, an apartment complex. So this entire area circled in blue, as shown from BCPAO. So there are several buildings. So on October 24th, 2025, a notice of violation was sent to the respondent addressing the violations on the property. These violations included permit section 105.1 required, 10.1 General Florida Building Code, Section 506 Sanitary Drainage System, 506.2 Maintenance, 304 Exterior Structure, 304.1 Stairways, Decks, Porches, and Balconies, as well as 302.2 Grading and Drainage. These are from the International Property Maintenance Code at the Florida Building Code. Respondent was asked to immediately block access to all dilapidated staircases, apply for and obtain a permit for the sewer pipe repair and concrete restoration, obtain all approved final inspections, and level the air conditioning pads. Notice of violation was mailed via certified first-class mail, as well as email to the owner who confirmed receipt of the notice via email. The certified mail is still in transit as of this time. November 6, 2025, completed inspection of the property and a revised notice of violation was created to address the dilapidated parking lot on the west side of the property. Section 302 exterior property areas, 302.3 sidewalks and driveways added to the list of cited violations. At this time, a notice of hearing was sent via first-class mail and certified mail, along with the revised notice of violation due to the unsafe conditions of the staircases. A notice of violation, notice of hearing were also posted on the property as well as City Hall. So we're just going to go through some pictures of their cases and just pictures of the life safety concerns we have. So here is a staircase that's being held up, exposed rebar, and significant spalling. Someone had, this is another stairwell, but as seen with many of the stairwells, they were marked off with caution tape. However, there are still people living on the first and second floors, utilizing staircases on a daily basis. This is the same unit from the back, again with significant spalling and some minor repairs. Exposed rebar. Just significant cracks. Here's a picture of the dilapidated parking lot. This is on the west side of the property. It's a little difficult to see the condition of the lot, so I have some close-up pictures.
Is there asphalt under there?
There is. So here's like.
So it's just sand-covered asphalt?
Yeah, it's just dilapidated. It's kind of falling apart. Again, going back to the property, just seeing more and more staircases with significant cracks and spalling and exposed rebar. The first staircase that we looked at.
Can you go back to the last part?
This one.
Is that aesthetic or is that structural, the cracks?
I'm so sorry, what was the question?
Is that aesthetic cracking or is that structural crack? Is that cracking evidence
I would have to
of lack of
defer
structural integrity?
to the building official, Jay Castillo.
Is the,
It looks like a staircase.
Yeah, it is a step.
here's the building official. We swore you in, right?
Yes.
Okay. Do you want to call him?
Yes, please, because I'm,
You understood my question?
Yes.
I saw cracks and they looked fairly wide, but
That was structural issues.
that's a structural issue. Okay, thank you.
so here's the first staircase that we took a look at with, it had significant falling and the rebar exposed. So it has been repaired on building permit. However, this is the staircase directly across, actually, no, I'm sorry, I apologize. This is the same staircase at the top of the stairs. So again, just showing the structural cracks. So on this one,
That's missing concrete there because the rebar
Yes.
rusted through, right?
yes.
Or spalled through, out, spalled.
So there's just a clear.
How do you spell spalled?
I don't think there's D in it. D-A.
What?
S-P-A.
S-P-A-W, or you always had an issue with it?
I would like to defer to.
Oh, no, W, okay, spalling, okay. All right,
Okay.
no wonder, okay.
Didn't know there was going to be a spelling test.
I spelled it 3 different ways in my notes, anyway.
Yeah. So again, just more concerns for the state of their cases. And again, people are, I confirmed that people are living in these units, knocked on the doors and spoke with people. Again, the bottom of the staircase it's not connected to the rest of the stairs. Just more. Some issues with the handrails.
When you say issues with the handrail, there is no handrail, right?
It's supposed to be bolted into the.
I see it,
It's
okay,
just
never
coming
mind.
up, yeah.
I see now, it's the shadow light.
Again, just a lot of exposed rebar. This one has been painted over. I don't know if you're so sorry. Here's like a broken step.
So which goes, actually, that's the question.
Yep.
My understanding of spalling is that the rebar rusts out, right? It provides no more support for the concrete around it, and therefore, the concrete at some point in time will fail, because there's no support. But you don't know, like, in this particular photo, we see the one that is broken in half, but, and this may be a question for the building official, you don't know whether the same condition exists in the ones that are all there, right? Until you do radar or scrape them down to the rebar or whatever. Am I correct, Mr. Crawford? You know what I'm saying?
I understand what you're saying. I just don't know the answer. I would have to defer to.
Do you want to add building official? You don't know if all these steps are the same as one that's broken in half
Correct.
until you
don't
do
know.
testing.
Typically, something happens when you have cracking or lack of maintenance and painting. Water can get to the
Right.
rebar, and then the rebar rust basically expands, and that is what's considered spalling, which blows the concrete apart in a slow
That's right,
process.
blows it.
And so, yes, you sometimes cannot tell whether or not a step could or could not give.
How do you know the step under and over that one aren't the same condition?
You can't without doing
Okay,
testing,
that's
right?
fine.
And that's what involves typically what us as the building official will require an engineer.
So if I was
To
walking
certify
down
it.
the steps, I could very well be particularly with my weight, be the cause of the step above or below or any other
And
step.
that is the issue with the life safety.
Okay.
Someone could fall through there.
Got it, okay, thank you.
All right, so we're just going through just the rest of the pictures. Okay.
All right. Do you have any questions? You can ask a question, Ms. Crawford, or the building official.
Yeah, my understanding is following.
Now, are you asking a question, or you want to make a?
You want me to come up?
Yeah.
Are you ready to cure case, or do you want to ask them a question?
I was asking a question.
Okay.
So, the understanding, so we hired a general contractor, pulled the permit, everything.
Now, you're asking, Ms. Crawford?
I'm just stating.
Okay,
We
then you
did.
are just
Yeah.
making.
No, this is not. I want to ask him a question.
Okay,
He's
then-
much smarter than I am
Okay.
about all this stuff. So my understanding is, this is what the general contractor advised me, is that when you have cracks and, so basically the rebar, which is the structure, expands, right, when it rusts, and that pops off concrete.
Correct.
So the question was, how do you know this above or below is safe or unsafe? Isn't it if there's no cracks, and assume that it is safe, right? That's my understanding. I would be walking any 1960s building and be scared that it's just going to collapse. Isn't there physical signs to the eye that one can see?
So that's a fine question. That's the answer in that, yes, you can. Life of a concrete depends on the maintenance and how it's kept up, right? Concrete can last a very long time if maintenance is kept. Typically, you can't tell one way or the other. I would not disagree with you in that if I walked up to a step or a set of stairs and we have no cracks and this paint has been taken care of and there's no signs of that, then I would say, yeah.
You would assume.
That's-
Okay, that was my only question.
Yeah, I mean, again, you can't tell, and they can do some testing in rebar and try to tell some of it, but yes, on the general, you would assume that okay.
Can painting hide cracks?
Yeah, painting can hide cracks. It would sometimes take a lot of, typically just a couple, you can
Okay.
see.
It's
So
temporary.
you can presume,
And it is
It's only temporary.
you can presume it's safe if it's not cracked.
I think we're throwing a lot of different assumptions and different speculations, right? 'Cause-
It matter whether there's other steps like this one?
Well,
Is the
with what we've
presumption,
seen on that
does
picture-
the presumption lessen because another?
Correct,
Okay.
because we've had ones, so yeah.
Got it, okay,
overall-
makes sense.
Right, that's what based on saying that there's
Okay.
life, we have proof that ones have failed. And then
Right.
from the pictures, we see full piece of concrete, the rust is, the rebar is in poor shape, the overall diameter is compromised, and that's diameter is required length of supporting it and weights.
If a window leaks in a building and all the other windows in the building don't leak, but they've all been installed at the same time, it might be worth it looking at the windows to see if they're gonna leak.
Why it's leaking.
I got
So
it.
I figured that That's leaking,
So
so I'm
this-
gonna check with
I got it.
And I get it both sides.
I got it. That's good. Okay, so you ready to present your case? Okay, go ahead.
So, hi, thank you for time, Your Honor. So I said at the beginning, we pulled a permit even before this code enforcement because we saw the issue, hired a general contractor. The problem was that so with all these concrete issues, I don't know, but the department, it's all about maintenance, right? You have to make sure that the concrete is strengthened, no cracks, because then no water can get into the rebar, rust up the rebar, and then pop it open. Unfortunately, we fell behind because the contractor didn't really want to do work because it was so rainy this season. So he was saying that if you do this work within 24, 48 hours of rain, then it's really going to hold up. You can't really work on in those conditions. So he constantly put me off. And that was like going on for like 4 months. I guess it was like a very rainy season. And then it's kind of like slowed down the rain in the last 2 weeks was we started catching up all these. So when I bought the building about 3 years ago, I noticed this issue on a lot of steps. And the previous owner did a pretty good job of replacing. Basically, it's on both sides of the building, every sector unit has like a private staircase with these individual concrete steps, and the old owner was replacing them as needed. So we were doing a great job up until the summer of maintaining or replacing. The general contractor comes in, looks at the issue, and he sees either the rebar can be treated and then the concrete replaced, or you have to just take out the whole rebar, it's not salvageable, and then he does it, and that's what we've been doing. So,
I live in a condo, I made numerous investments.
yes, it's a big issue, especially if you're wide the ocean, because the salt water moves really quick. So, as the picture showed, and that main really bad area, that was our priority. That did get taken care of. Also, yesterday, code enforcement, someone, I forgot his name, the general contractor, he required an engineer to sign off that it was done correctly, which we got yesterday. So the engineer at our property, aside from our contractor, we hired an engineer who came by and said work was done well, and the property is now safe. So we're working.
Well, when you say that the property's now safe, those steps are corrected?
The main back area, you saw that.
Broke steps and the lack of concrete?
Well, not each individual
And there are
step.
people still living upstairs?
So yeah, because now
They
it's,
still traverse up and down the steps?
yeah, but now it's safe and everything. There was
Well, the steps still cracked like they're shown in the photos, whether they're not, they're cracked, not cracked, They're not together, they're actually broken.
Well, that's not up to you. That's in the back of the property. Where you see
But
that
isn't
step
that
not
where
together?
people go up now?
Not that area, no. Not that area where you showed the
So
step.
what I hear you saying is everywhere that someone lives upstairs, the stairs totally repaired.
So there's two things, right? There's individual steps, and then the structure
No, I'm
of the
talking about
entire
individual
staircase.
steps, I mean,
Right, the structure of all the staircases are currently safe.
I don't, if I fall down the steps, I usually, it's because I've slipped on a step, not because the structure made me slip.
Yeah, there's one photo, one area where the step is missing.
So it's
That-
still, it's
That's one place, that's a different place from
it's
that
still
area.
not safe for people to
For
walk
that
up and
individual
down.
one, yeah.
Walk up and down to where.
And then we were gonna, actually, they already started working on that area.
Okay.
Yeah, because it stopped raining, so we had window to it. That's regarding the concrete. Regarding the parking lot, that parking lot, so we've had, I don't know who in the city, and I mean, I spoke to an email to people trying to just work everything. I had an issue with the neighboring property that there was like when we bought the property, there was almost like a half easement in place. It was just like not signed off on from the neighboring property behind us. That essentially you can drive through the back property and then leave the property through the back. The neighboring property at first said she was gonna give us easement, so it would be like an actual parking lot, but then she didn't. Now she built like an entire concrete wall, with no permits, to block access. And she did that because she wanted to stop water flow going from the back of the property to the other side of the street. So what caused us is, since she built, we've had a lot of flooding, which is obviously making the concrete, like that staircase that separated, that wet worse, and it's also kind of ruined the back parking lot, even though it's not really a parking lot right now because there's only one way access, there's two-car access, so it's not really a parking. We allow residents to use the parking openly, but there's no assigned spot back there. In the front of the property, which is sufficient parking for all our residents, but the back is out that easy. Now there's a block wall, a permitted one, so that's why.
You report that to the city, the unpermitted?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I hope they
And
know about
the
it.
other part sounds like a civil issue, so,
Well,
okay.
I mean, it was civil, but also, yeah, I mean, if you have an easement, then it becomes a parking lot, then it would stop it would stop flooding and we can take
An
care of it.
easement doesn't make something a parking lot or not, it might make access to the
If you
parking.
have ingress and egress, what I was told is by code, that's when it becomes a parking lot, when there's egress and ingress.
That's it. Okay.
So that's what that issue.
All right. City, you have any questions, first of all?
I don't know if I have any questions. I did want to present two additional items.
Did I ask if you wanted to present the PowerPoint evidence?
I don't remember.
I don't think I did. Did you have any objection to the PowerPoint being introduced in evidence? It'll be admitted then.
Okay.
You had something additional?
Yeah, I so mentioned, here, this.
Yep.
Yep, okay, perfect. This is,
Your position, the city's position is that steps still unsafe.
yeah, that's the city's position because
Well,
they're,
and the respondent indicated that they weren't repaired yet, but the stair structure he thought was okay, but individual that hadn't been repaired.
and the reason why our position is that the staircases are still unsafe is because the building permit only covered the one staircase that was stored, and letter addresses that inspection was conducted and confirmed that one staircase outside
Okay, so
of
the other
unit
ones aren't
738
finalized.
safe. Yeah, I did say,
Okay.
that is one document that I would like to
Sure.
present into evidence.
Yeah, you don't have any objection, do you?
It's not, it's just, I thought that the code violation was just at that area. I see I didn't even know that there were areas that he was even, I mean, we're fixing it anyway because it's dry and we have that chance, but I wasn't even aware about those other, that was the first time I saw all the other photos and all the other issues.
Well, okay.
Yeah, so in the notice of violation, yeah, we want all the staircases to be safe. And then initially, so I would like to,
Well, you all talk about that, but with positions, you might all say, that's the way I read the charge too, so.
yeah, but the scope of the work for the building permit that was submitted and completed, there was this document that submitted by, it looks like the contractor, AA Reliable Construction, that states that there's severe concrete spalling and crackling in exterior stairs and balconies. It goes over
These folks are, yeah.
like multiple cases.
Okay, this will be City Exhibit 2 then, since the PowerPoint was 1. Okay.
Would like to also present this one into evidence for enter it.
This is another one. Okay. That was just a copy you were given?
Yeah, I would
Okay.
like to present,
This is a proposed exhibit 3 then. No problem? No objection? Yeah, okay. City, have anything further?
I just wanted to quickly address that there are 2 additional code enforcement cases open on the properties behind this property, and it is for the permitted wall, unpermitted fence, as well as some,
Okay.
yeah, okay, yeah,
That's
just additional
not-
code cases.
no, I'm-
Okay.
So he's working on that case, okay. So what is the city proposal?
Okay, so based on the testimony and evidence presented at this hearing, we respectfully request the magistrate find the respondent violation, the notice violation, and to immediately bring the cases into compliance or secure the staircases to prevent individuals from utilizing due to the unsafe condition of staircase cases. Staff also requests fine in the amount of $250 a day be instituted until compliance is achieved and confirmed by the code officer. Additionally, for all remaining violations, give the respondent until December 13th, 2025 to bring the other violations of property into compliance and compliance confirmed.
So you don't want to address a fine on the others until December 13th?
Correct.
Do you understand what the city's proposal is? What's your view on that?
No fine until December 13th?
Everything except the staircase. The cases you'd be required immediately either repair them so that they're using, which means go through the whole process and have the inspections and for the building department and everything, or secure them so that they can't be used.
So the 50 would stay.
And it would start, well, as soon as orders is issued. And I will tell you that I do find that this is a public safety issue, and it is endangering the public health, safety, and welfare. I plan, today is Thursday, I plan on having Ms. Crawford have an order tomorrow. So it would be effective tomorrow, that if you don't have the, that exact taken by Saturday, if you get ordered out tomorrow, you would have, immediate would be the next day. We'd give you 1 day. I'm going to issue it immediately. That's the city.
We'll work on it.
I'll listen to the city. What does the city say about Monday?
The need that the city can act is that it's a life safety issue.
Well,
We can't have people on
thank
the
you.
stairs, up and down on the stairs, whether it's today or it's tomorrow or it's Monday. We can't have the people on there.
The
and
city
take
would
them
have been the Monday. I would still say Saturday. Just wanted to hear the city.
I'd also just like to remind on the record that after, there is a fine that we are asking to be instituted immediately. However, with good faith and quick resolve of these issues, the individual can come back and ask you for a reduction in that lien later on.
That's right. So what was just, Mr. Palmer just said was, I'll tell you right now, what I'm going to get compliance, which is ultimately be Saturday on the stairs. And then everything else by December 13th. And that the fine starts on Saturday if you don't have everything done. But $250 a day. And what Ms. Palmer was just pointing out is, depending on how things go, okay, you might persuade the city to agree to lessen the fine, eliminate the fine, whatever, but that will be decided at a future day. But I mean, I am going to find that there is a public.
Yeah, I get it. So a few questions. So number one is, you say till Saturday, you have to have code enforcement come back out to inspect it, and then it's over. But they don't work on Saturday.
That's called them. I don't know. I bet you're wrong in this case, but it's not my call.
Okay.
My guess is that the city will go out and inspect the stairways on Saturday.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So we'll have.
Otherwise, they wouldn't have said public health safety issue and all that if they didn't.
Yeah, my next one is, you said the permit was only done fix all those other little staircases, do we need another permit? Or would we be able to fit under that permit with no permit?
Well, that's between you. That seems like something that's implementing things. Is there anything further for me on this? Ma'am, you were sworn as a witness, but. Oh, okay. Well, you're for punishment. So I'm going to find that the violations cited are indeed violations on the property, and I will order, in this case, 25271, that the stairways be improved, inspected, and finalized prior to, immediately, which this, like I said, this order will issue tomorrow. And if they're not permitted and inspected and finalized, made safe, then the property owner has the option of securing them by blocking access to and preventing the use of the stairways by anybody. And that's going to be your obligation. And if that's not done by immediately, a fine of $200 per day run. To all other violations, you'll have till December 13th, 2025. Like, I don't know if you were in the prior hearing or not, but we're not going to have it here until January 14th. Okay, so basically have longer on those other violations, unless something arises from a public health safety, there's an emergent meeting, which I don't. But anyway, on those, December 13th, the due to have them all in compliance, and if they're not, then we'll have a hearing about what the fine will be on those.
Can we talk about that parking lot? Is that the only?
Well,
That's a great question.
is that for me or is that for you guys?
Oh, that can be for us.
Okay, because
No, there's a broken pipe.
well, hang
I don't know
on,
if-
that will be my order issued in this case, and
So it
it'll be
doesn't-
followed up by a written order,
Okay.
okay?
Regarding that particular issue?
What, immediate on the stairways,
Yes.
$250 a day fine. Everything else, all the other violations have to be, attain compliance by December 13th.
But the parking lot still has to be compliant, even though it's not really a parking lot?
I find it is a parking lot.
A
If
parking
it's,
lot is only when there's two-lane cars. This is not a two-lane car access.
the city's, okay, I'm gonna rehear that part, and I'll issue the order again in a second. What's the city's position on whether or not that's a parking lot? It looked like,
I think because it's dilapidated, I think that's the concern, not that it needs to be a parking lot, but that there's
What?
tripping hazards and,
well, let me say what I understood. I understood all that area was a parking lot.
it was.
It was a parking lot, and now it's a dilapidated parking lot. That's the issue, not whether it functions as or doesn't function as a parking lot. It was a parking lot, and now it's in a dilapidated condition. That's okay? If I got that right, that's what I understood.
Yes.
Okay, then my order will stand about December 3rd on all the other code violations.
Right, and then.
Okay?
Yeah.
That's the only other.
There is a broken pipe.
And I'll let you guys work out the details.
I probably skimmed right. The section is, Section 50 sanitary drainage. Yes.
Okay. Is there anything else to come before the special magistrate? Nothing else? We're adjourned.